Well, the thing is, a lot of folks are wondering how to get a cheaper loan. And in today's conversation, we've decided to address that issue. So I'm going to explain to you how to get a large and cheap personal loan from a credit union, no matter your credit. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you are to ask me, if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to speak to you. I want to show you a proven methodology that will help you get a large and cheap personal loan from a credit union, no matter your credit. So whether you have good credit, bad credit, low credit, no credit, doesn't matter. I will show you how to get a good and large personal loan at affordable rates. And there are 7 elements I wanted to speak to you today about. First, I want to explain to you how to understand how credit union loans work. You need to know how to choose the right credit union. You need to check membership eligibility. You need to evaluate your borrowing needs. You need to start the borrowing process early and why you should. You need to know credit union loan requirements. And last but not the least, I'm going to show you how to select the right credit union loan. Okay, let's jump right into it. First, you need to understand how credit union loans work. First, you have to understand how credit unions work in general. They offer similar financial products and services to banks. So with both credit unions and banks, you can access services like direct deposit, mobile banking, ATM access, and overdraft protection. You can even get loans, lines of credit, and so on and so forth. And you need to be a member of a credit union to actually be able to apply for a loan or for any other services for that matter. And you may get a lower interest rate and fewer fees. One thing we have seen in our research is that you can get a dirt cheap loan from a credit union, and a large one at that. In other words, you're getting a higher amount at a dirt cheap APR. That's fantastic. That's what we all want, right? And you also need to understand that with the credit union, your odds of approval are way higher than a traditional bank because a lot of those financial institutions, the credit union that is, they are focused on community. They have a charter, and so they have requirements to kind of help the community to help their members. So if you are a member, you are part of the select community, which the credit union tries to help. And the fourth criterion in our research that makes credit union loans perfect is that you basically need to pay attention to the fact that you have to go to a branch to get your money. In other words, technology is not really their forte right now. They're working on it, but credit unions in general are more locally oriented. So this is something you need to know. So step number 1, understand how credit union loans work. Step number 2, you need to know how to choose the right credit union. Very important. Now, there is a constellation of criteria you need to pay attention to when choosing a credit union. And there are a lot of factors. Let me just give you a few of them. Rates and fees. So you want to pay attention. You want to choose lower loan interest rates. You want to go for lower minimums and fees. You want to go for lower credit card rates. In general, a credit union that has low APR for credit cards is bound to have low APRs for personal loans. That's just logic, right? And you also want to pay attention to a credit union that has stellar customer service. You want to make sure that the credit union that you have is focused on the community. So if you are in a community, you want to first focus on credit unions in your community. Very important. That way you establish their relationship. That way you are able to cultivate the rapport that will help you later on get a large personal loan at a dirt cheap rate. You also want to think about the credit union that has a great apps and technology platform, right? If you are like me, if you are technologically oriented and you rather just do everything on the phone or online, and you don't want to actually just drive to the branch and talk to people all the time, then you might want to look for a credit union that is a little advanced in terms of technology. You want to pay attention to ATMs and branch locations. Very important. The last thing you want is to choose a credit union that only has 2 or 3 branches in the whole state. So you have to drive, say, 100 miles just to speak to your branch manager or to your relationship manager. Nobody wants that. It's a waste of time, waste of energy, waste of money, waste of gas, by the way. You also want to think about security and insurance. Generally, the FDIC insures bank deposits of up to $250,000. So you want to really understand that, and you want to make sure you choose a credit union that is FDIC insured. You also want to make sure the credit union you choose is regulated by the NCUA. So NCUA is a government agency that administers the National Credit Union Share Insurance Fund, which actually insures deposits at federal credit unions for up to $250,000, the same amount as banks. And you want to look for other membership benefits: no fee ATMs, cashback, unlimited bill pay, overage, less emphasis on credit score. And you also want to check the initial deposit amount. So step number 3. So I'm just trying to lay the foundation. So you this is the step-by-step you need to follow methodically to make sure you get the loan that you want, a large and cheap personal loan from a credit union. Step number 1, understand how credit union loans work. Number 2, you need to know how to choose the right credit union. Number 3, now I want you to check membership eligibility. As I said earlier, it's very important to understand that you cannot get a large and personal loan from a credit union without being a member in the first place. You got to be a member. And it's not, the cool thing here is that it's so easy. It's way easier than getting a loan at a traditional bank in some cases. So it's very easy to become a member. A lot of folks think, oh, well, if I have to be, I need to be a member of the military, or I need to have a family member in the military or in a specialized industry to be able to access a credit union. No. Far from that. A lot easy. Now, the law requires that credit unions define the field of membership. This simply means that they need to outline the group of people they wish to serve. Many credit unions do not have strict requirements because credit unions serve the city or town you live in. When they open, they already serve the local community. The NCUA, the regulator at the national level, defines this as community credit unions. By simply living in a specific area, you have already met their requirements. And if you need more information, you just go. We're showing this to you right now on the screen. There is a link where you can actually see all the NCUA credit union categories. One thing I just want to remind you that the NCUA basically is the National Credit Union Association. It's a federal government agency. And there are a lot of criteria that when it comes to eligibility, there are a lot of criteria. For example, they have area of work or industry. So some credit unions require that you work in a specific industry. So many employers set up credit unions to serve their staff members. These are known as corporate credit unions. You have religious affiliation. So some credit unions require that you have a certain religious affiliation. And this could include being a member of a church, synagogue, or other places of worship. Membership in other organizations. For example, another common criterion relates to an individual or group-based membership. For example, you may need to belong to a labor union or a fraternal organization, connections with family members that we know, education credit unions. So many credit unions have locations in college towns. So this type of location helps people that need to open a checking account for the first time. This is pretty cool. And education credit unions also serve as a great example of how to support a local community. Or public credit unions, you also have that. And so you may join a public credit union by making a small donation to a specific charity. And or a public credit union may require that you join a specific association that has a direct connection to it. Step number 4, you need to evaluate your borrowing needs. This is very important. If we're talking about getting a large and personal loan from a credit union, no matter your credit, you better be prepared, and you have to really answer a simple question. Why do you need the money? Why do you need the money? And what kind of loans do you look for? Are you looking for, right? So we are talking here about getting a large personal loan at a dirt cheap APR. That's the goal here, right? And so when we speak about large personal loans, are we speaking about a personal loan, just the installment loan? Are we referring to a personal line of credit? Are we referring to an auto loan? Are we referring to a mortgage? Are we referring to a business loan? Because at the end of the day, besides personal loans, credit unions actually provide several other types of loans. And the cool idea here is that when I'm asking you to evaluate your borrowing needs, I'm asking you to take a larger picture of your borrowing needs. Do you need, besides personal loans, do you need other types of loans? That way you can actually apply strategically with the same credit union, because the last thing you want to do is spread yourself too thin in terms of borrowing. In other words, you don't want to go to a credit to you don't want to go to 3, 4, or 5 credit unions because you're looking for 3, 4, or 5 loans, right? You want to actually put all your eggs in the same basket. And this is kind of cool too, because it allows you to establish a relationship, a borrowing relationship with the credit union. It allows you to get discounted APRs, and it allows you also to actually monitor your loans in one specific place. And last but not the least, it allows you also not to actually, quote unquote, kill your credit score. Because if you have too many inquiries on your credit, on a credit history, chances are you are going to actually lose a few points here and there. Okay, so you need to evaluate your borrowing needs. And one thing you also need to understand here is that when you evaluate your borrowing needs, you need to be very clear about whether or not your personal credit, the credit score that you currently have, is in sync. It is suitable to the kind of loans you are looking for. This is very important, and I will speak about that in a very short moment. But this is an important element you need to think about beforehand. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Studio Kiwi Show. We are also having a conversation today about how to get a large and cheap personal loan from a credit union, no matter your credit. So step number 1, understand how credit union loans work. Number 2, know how to choose the right credit union. Number 3, check membership eligibility. Number 4, evaluate your borrowing needs. And number 5, you need to start the borrowing process early. Why? Because let's say you know that you'll need 10 grand or 20 grand in 3 months or 6 months. You better start today. You need to start the whole process today. You need to start researching the credit union today. You need to start asking around, doing some Googling. Really, you need to start early, because it takes time. You want to establish the relationship. The reason why you need to start early is that you want to actually, first of all, you need to find the right credit union. You need to apply. In other words, you need to fulfill the membership eligibility criteria. You need to apply. You need to open the checking account or savings account, or both of them. And you need to establish their relationship with your account manager or the branch manager if you live in the vicinity. Those elements are important because it can help you actually get the loan you need when you apply, when you do really apply. So apply for membership early. Open the savings and checking account. In our research, borrowers who have both a savings and checking account they have a higher likelihood of being approved. In other words, you want to concentrate all your banking with a credit union. That way, they're making money off of you. You're making money off of them. I mean, you're not making money, but they're actually, you know what I mean. They're actually just lending you at very dirt cheap rates. You constantly want to work on your relationship with your account representative. I can never overemphasize this. It's important. If you want to get a large and cheap personal loan from a credit union, you need to establish your relationship with your account manager or the branch manager, because those two will be talking to the loan underwriter, who will basically help you out. The point I'm trying to make here is that when it comes to credit union loans, you really need to forget the whole online application thing. A credit union is a local thing. It's a personal relationship oriented thing. You don't, the whole, I'm going to apply online and I'll get an instant decision in 5 minutes. No, forget about that. It doesn't work when it comes to credit unions. This is a relatively slower process, but the results are way better. You get cheaper rates, you get a personalized type of service, and you establish a long-term relationship with a credit union. Step number 6, folks. I want you to know the credit union loan requirements. Now, first of all, you need to know the credit union loan requirements. Very important. So this is step number 6. And what are the criteria? Most credit union loan application forms have a few things that are common. So you have the application paper, so you can fill out the application either online or on paper. So what I'm trying to say is you can fill out the application online, but at the end of the day, you want to contact someone, you want to speak to someone, or you want to see someone. And they will ask you for an identification document. So on the application, you'll need to provide identifying information about yourself, such as your social security number and your date of birth. They might ask you for employment. So some credit unions require you to have been in the same job for a certain amount of time, 1 year, for example. We've seen 6 months also. Income, you'll need income to repay the loan, and you'll need to disclose any debts to the credit union. Your monthly payments on all debts will need to be below a certain debt to income ratio, the DTI. So basically, your DTI, your debt to income ratio, compares your total monthly debt payments to your monthly income. And they might also ask you for equity or down payment. So if you're buying a house or a vehicle, for example, you will typically need to make some sort of down payments. For refinances, you will need sufficient equity, usually measured as a loan to value ratio, the LTV ratio. And your LTV ratio compares your home's value to your remaining loan balance. Now, when we talk about a large and cheap personal loan, those do not apply. The LTV does not apply, and the equity or down payment does not apply. And another criterion that is very important when we speak about credit union loan requirements is credit worthiness. So a history of borrowing and repaying loans responsibly will get you approved. Your credit score is often used to judge credit worthiness. So having said that, don't worry if you have bad credit or low credit or no credit, because there are other ways you can actually get the loan that you need. Based on, as I said earlier, you need to you need to have a savings and checking account, right? You need to have a job. You need to have income coming in. And for the job, you don't really need to have a full-time job. If you have a full-time job, that's fantastic. But if you don't, guess what? It's not the end of the world. There is hope out there, okay? And the thing here is that you just need to have a larger constellations of pluses versus minuses. For example, if your bad credit score is a minus, you want to have many pluses. You want to have your tax returns, your bank statements that shows that you actually have some money in the bank, that you have income coming in, and that you also have a great relationship with the branch manager at the credit union. They know you. They need to know you. And another thing you need to do also is that you need to actually make sure that if you can't get approved right away, think about getting a secure loan, or enlist the help of a co-signer. So you have, because a co-signer can also help you get approved, right? So a co-signer is a person who signs an application with you. So this is something that you have to think about. Step number 7. So after you do all these things, now is the time to select the right credit union loan. And we've actually covered this topic on another show, but we're just going to show you right now. We have seen 10 wonderful credit union personal loans that will approve you for large amounts and dirt cheap APRs. So we're just going to show you the links and the snapshots of those credit unions. You can just go check them out. We have covered this topic extensively on another show, so you might want to double check that show. So the right credit union loans. So we have the First Tech Credit Union, and I'm showing this to you right now. They have personal loans that with APRs as low as 6.70%. They also offer personal lines of credit. They have stock secure loans. They have certificate secure loans and savings secure loans. Then we have aligned credit unions. They have loans from $1,000 to $50,000. APR from 6.24% to with auto pay, terms from 1 to 5 years. All the credit unions I'm actually giving you in this show, their membership is open. In other words, you can qualify even if you don't live in the area or you don't have a family member. You can generally just make a donation to an association or a nonprofit, and then you're in. So it's very easy. So we have Alliant Credit Union, we have First Tech Credit Union, we also have the Penn Fed Credit Union, APR from 6.99, loan amounts from 500 to 35 grand. Then we have Navy Federal Credit Union, APR from 7.5% to 18%, borrowing limits $250 to $50,000, terms 60 months. We have Consumers Credit Union, and here you have loan amounts up to $100,000. They have low fixed rates with flexible terms. We also have Connexus Credit Union, and here you have loans that start from, the APR starts from 3.24% and go all the way to 10%. And you can get loan amounts as high as $25,000. We have America First Credit Union, and here you have APR that go from 3.5% all the way to 50.24%. Loan terms 60 months. Great credit union. We have Boeing Employees Credit Union, and up to $15,000 in loans. Loan terms up to 6 years, and APR as low as 8.24%. We have the Blue Federal Credit Union. Here you have loan amounts that go all the way to 100,000, and APR was not disclosed on their website, but the APR is kind of low also. And we have the Wings Financial Credit Union, and here you have APR, so you have terms of 4, 5, and 6 years, and you actually the terms go from 8.99% to 12.99%, and they can give you a loan from $1,000 to $50,000. All right, folks, this was it for today's conversation. I was explaining to you how to get a large and cheap personal loan from a credit union, no matter your credit. And here is a step-by-step you need to follow. Number 1, understand how credit union loans work. Number 2, know how to choose the right credit union. Number 3, you want to check membership eligibility. Number 4, you want to evaluate your borrowing needs. Number 5, you need to start the borrowing process early. Number 6, you want to know credit union loan requirements. Number 7, you need to select the right credit union loan. So we have actually given you a constellation of credit union loans that are good for you, they have dirt cheap APRs. You have First Tech Credit Union, Alliant Credit Union, Penn Fed Credit Union, Navy Federal Credit Union, Consumers Credit Union, Connexus Credit Union, America First Credit Union, Boeing Employees Credit Union, Blue Federal Credit Union, Wings Financial Credit Union. I'll speak to you another time. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will see you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.